It's the tornado, Tony Pentagon.
And Psychic Tom had his crystal ball raring to go.
Hello. Yes.
Hey, Ken.
How you guys doing? Yeah, I think that was our team. They came up with that fan engagement. I know that we wanted to make sure that the fans had a different challenge or a different opportunity with Valor Bareknuckle. We want to make sure that their viewing was much differently, their participation was much differently, and what they're going to be watching much differently. So that was a good idea to be able to get them involved and being able to vote to see which guys would fight each other in the first round of the tournament. I'm, you know, I've got to give it to my team. You know, the team that we put together is really good and a lot of experience within that room we have with our team. We got over 80 years of experience altogether. So a lot of connections, a lot of experience. And so that's, I'm telling you, that's the reason why we were able to get this thing going like it's going at a very professional level with all the coverage that we're getting on it. And it has to do with the amount of people and the years of experience that we have within our team. Yeah, I kind of knocked him out of his shoes. Yeah, I knocked him out of his shoes, but I'm not sure we can count that as the bare knuckle fight. It was a bare knuckle fight, but it wasn't a professional bare knuckle fight.
He was the road rage guy, if I remember correctly.
That's it. That's correct. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he ended up biting the wrong end of the apple.
Well, you know, Ken, I'm looking at you know, one of the links that we just got tonight, you know, about the promotion. And let me ask you this, Ken. You know, obviously, when you start a new promotion, you know, there's always a lot of work in it. There's always a lot of anxiety. Do you think, you know, the star power of, you know, your name and your reputation being so well known will help really get this off to a jump start?
Well, I think it's already putting us in a really good position with media, with fan base, with sponsors, with investors, and also with our team, the team that we're able to assemble. A lot of these guys, because of the different people that are involved with us, a lot of these guys that are on our team had jumped on board because of the name of Ken Shamrock, because of the people that they knew that were working with Ken Shamrock. And so that's how we were able to put this team together, because it's really about, when you look at something, especially at the level of caliber of people we have involved in our team, they have to look and see and go whether or not they think this might succeed, because nobody likes to lose at this level. So I think when they saw what we had, the team members came in and saw what we had, they jumped on board, and that's why we were able to be where we're at and have the team members that we have, is because the opportunity that these guys all know each other. They've worked together for over 17 years in different perspectives of the, and then along with having a marquee name on top of it. So you can't really beat that, man. We cover all bases.
That's cool. Great.
Well, again, Mark Godbeer, Mighty Mo, Jack May, Romero Sokaju, those are the guys that we have in the main card for the tournament. And only one of those guys actually have bare knuckle experience, and that's Mark Godbeer. So for me to put this tournament on, along with Richard Goodman, who actually came up with the concept and the idea of the tournament, it's very interesting because now you've got this element of bare knuckle, and how are these guys going to navigate through these waters in the first round and going into the finals to be able to be at the highest level and perform at the highest level when they've got to go through 2 fights to win it. Well, first of all, bare knuckle fighting has been around since the beginning ages. It's probably the oldest combat sport there is, because the minute people could walk and stand, people could throw fists. So it's something that's been around a long time, maybe not organized, and then it started to get organized. So it's old, but it's new. Now it's here. We've already gone through the stages of the no holds barred. We've gone through the stages of MMA. And so people are now looking for that next thing. And so bare knuckle seems to be the next thing that people understand and have seen. So I really think that it's really almost a 25 years change in combat sports when you look at how long people stay interested in something. And then it's on to the next big thing. What is the next big thing? And so I think, like I said, it's bare knuckle. It's Valor Bareknuckle. And then what's setting us apart is the team members that we have with the amount of experience that we're able to go out there and put together a professional team. We have a lot of contacts between what our team members and the MMA industry and also the bare knuckle industry. There's a lot of contacts that we have. So we're able to reach out and be able to get put into the place. What's that? Where would I get? What? I'm sorry. Yeah, it's deep, and because of the amount of people we have on our team with the amount of experience, we have 6 people. We have over 80 years of experience. So, that's a lot. That's a lot of contacts over the years that we've made. So, for us to be where we're at, it really has to do with the amount of team members that we have, with the amount of connections, and so we're very fortunate to be able to reach out to in-demand Dish Network, all major cable companies, Fight with your digital, Fight TV. So, and that all comes just because of the professionalism that we have on our team, that we're able to bring those type of people in and be able to show it like we're going to show it. Even when you go to it live, the way you'll be able to experience our fight live will be different than you've ever been able to experience it before. And I'm not going to tell you why until the night of the fight, but once you see it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. It'll be a surprise.
Oh, Ken, this is so exciting. And to elaborate a bit on what you were saying, it's new, but there's a sense of the rawness of the early UFC days. If I can make my point on this, I've been spending some time in some of the comment sections, and there's a buzz about this. There's a lot of excitement because going back to the early UFC days, there was just a certain rawness about things. And people like slugfest. They like action. And now the sport's evolved a lot, in some ways a lot better, but there's still that old school feeling about this. And that's where the buzz is at, that people just want to see some good old-fashioned brawls. And I think the sky is the limit on this. So I'm excited.
Well, and when you talk about that, it really is. It's a fast pace. When you get into bare knuckle, most people, when they look at it, they because they don't understand what they don't understand, but it's a different beast. When you get a guy in there like Malinaji and he goes in there and tries to fight without understanding what he's doing, he got beat. And the reason why is because he didn't understand that it is much different than what boxing is, because you got bigger gloves on, you're able to block more punches, you can actually stand in front of guys and take a jab and then return a punch. In bare knuckle, man, you can't do that. You got to use your feet, and you got to stay out of all punching, jabs, hooks, all of them. And so it is a much faster fight. So people love action, and bare knuckle is action.
Right. That's the key.
No, what we want to do. What we want to do is we want this to be stand up, right? It's bare knuckle fighting. It's God-given talent. In other words, there's no tape on the hand. We, like these other people, are taping their hands, and I'm thinking to myself, it's bare knuckle. Stop putting tape on the hands. So there's no tape on the hands. There's 3-minute rounds. There's no holding. You can't even open your hands to grab somebody's head or wrist. It's bare knuckle fighting. It's not grappling. It's not pommeling. It's fighting. So we want people to go in there and fight. We don't want them holding on. We don't want them trying to grab or pull. It's fighting. So we're pushing that. If you want to get in there and you want to fight, you're going to follow our rules.
Make sense?
You talking about who? Conor McGregor? Oh, Conor. Yeah, my boy Conor. Well, listen, man, I'm telling you what, he's got big hands, but he's a family man, so he's not going to be stepping into no pit anytime soon. Yeah, well, Ajax is a beast. So Ajax was the dog that I don't think too many dogs could take him. So he's definitely the champ. But those dogs have passed on. They were great dogs. I had them for a long time, but they're in dog heaven now.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I love them, man. They're great dogs. They're very protective, very territorial, but man, they are really good dogs.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we're excited. Like I said, we've got that 4-man tournament. Mark Godbeer, Mighty Mo, Jack May, Romero Sopaju. Those guys are big hitters, so we're excited to see whether or not which one of these guys can really transition their styles into bare knuckle And that's really what it's about is whether or not they can transition, because they're all really good, either in MMA or kickboxing or boxing. They've all had really a good careers. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not they can transition their careers into bare knuckle. Ishii Smith and Esteban Payne, which is our co-main event, that one there I think is going to be really good. Ishii's actually a pro boxer and a former champ, and Esteban Payne has got a pretty good MMA record. So it'll be interesting to see whether Ishii can and really transition over into this bare knuckle, because in boxing, he's used to having those bigger gloves on and being able to block punches, maybe even take a jab and throw a punch. But this is different, right? You can't take punches, and you can't stand there and block because your hands are not big enough to block the punch. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not he'll be able to use his feet, be able to get out of the way, not stand there and take any shots. Don't be taking no jabs. Esteban Payne is obviously a MMA fighter who has had pretty good career, but he's also had gloves on too, and not quite as big. But how does he transition into this? So it'll be, like I said, I'm really looking at the card, and I'm interested to see which one of these guys are going to be able to transition into bare knuckle the fastest.
And Ken, to elaborate on that point, you just made a very good point, which was guys that have strictly boxing experience, as Ishii Smith did. You see situations where they were trying to cross-train fighters into different disciplines, and the one that always sticks out in my mind is when James Lights Out Tony, who was a tremendous middleweight champion, light heavyweight champion, fought as high as heavyweight, when he moved up to fight Randy Couture, and the mistake he made was he tried to fight a very defensive fight, and he let, because he was a defensive fighter and he was slick, but he let the MMA guy get close to him, and it resulted in a takedown and a chokeout. Where, as you said, with boxing, you can't sit there and try to take the punches or block the punches. Your best defense is going to be a good offense, and it's going to be interesting to see on what fighters can adapt to this.
Yeah, I agree. I think that you have to be more active in bare knuckle, because it really is. It's so much faster, because jabs, they count just as much as a right hand does in boxing, right? So it does. Every punch is effective. So you have to be able to be a much faster paced fight. There's no really a whole lot of time for you to move around and dance and slip punches and counter, throw jabs, because everything that you throw is going to count. So it's not like in boxing where you can throw a few jabs and warm up 1 or 2 or 3 rounds. You don't have that, man. So when you step out, that bell rings, it's the game on. So you better be ready to fight when that bell rings.
Ken, that's just like the early UFC days. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. I mean, that's what people want. They want action.
Yep. Well, and you say that the earlier days, and that's exactly right. I think there's so much similarity to what bare knuckle is right now, where it's basically a different beast, and all these people are coming in from all these different disciplines, and when they walk into that ring, they're 0-0. They have no record in bare knuckle. So every one of these guys that had these tremendous careers, when they walk in to this pit, they are 0-0. Imagine that. Guys with these kind of records going in, and they're amateurs now. They're having their first pro fight as bare knuckle.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Well, I know Feldman has done a good job. He's gone out and he's done what he had to do. But what we did was basically we sat back and we watched people when they launched their bare knuckle organizations, and we sat back and watched, because we realized that when you first start out, there's a lot of things that can go wrong, and we just wanted to kind of sit back and look at the landscape, see what works, what doesn't work. And so that's kind of what we did. We just sat back to look to see what would work. And then we threw our hat up. Once we could figure out the right direction and what we needed to do, we stepped in and we did it. I would have done it, no question. Yeah, because remember, I did tough mans prior to doing MMA or no holds barred. I was outdoing tough mans, and I won 3 of them. So that was really where I started at, was the tough man contest. And so yeah, absolutely, I would have done both. I wouldn't have walked away from MMA. I would have done both of them. Right. But it's, like I said, September 21st at Four Bears Casino, man, September 21st, inaugural Valor Bareknuckle. And I tell you what, man, this is going to be something that people have not been able to see like they're going to see this time. We're going to have it much more better. The visual aspect of it is going to be so much better than what they're used to seeing. And we got all the networks, all the major cable companies. So if you're at home, when you want to watch it, you have the ability to do that. And the fighters that are going into the ring, I mean, we have top-notch fighters from the start to the end. So we're excited about it, and I'm really happy to be able to bring this out with the fans. We have a strong team behind us that have, like I said, over 80 years of experience. So we're not holding back any of this because we want to put our best foot forward. We want the fans to enjoy it. Yeah. Well, absolutely. You know, when you say president, right? That just means that whoever's the president, whether it's the president of the United States, whether it's president of Valor Bareknuckle, and that would be me, that just means we can talk well. But all the smart people are behind us. They're telling us what to do. So let me. Yeah, it's like, hey, you can speak well. Just make sure you tell me what to say. So, but I'll tell you who's behind us. We got Des Woodruff, who's my business partner. Like I said, we've been working on this for about 5 years now. Jen Wink, who was the PR person for the UFC when it's in its prime, she's working for us now. We got Todd Middendorf, who is our basically VP of operations, who oversees everything. And then we've got Richard Goodman, who's actually the guy that is got credit for this fight card. He's the one that put it together. So we, like I said, from the top to the bottom, man, we have a very professional team with a lot of experience, and we really look forward to September 21st to be able to launch Valor Bareknuckle so the fans can enjoy some real good Valor Bareknuckle. That's why we used it. That's why we used it. Like courage and honor. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just want to make sure that I make sure to give a shout out to my team. I know they've done a tremendous job up to this point. You know, without them, man, we would not be where we were at. So shout out to them. I want to make sure the fans understand that, you know, they can reach us through valorbk.com. If you want to be a fighter, if you want to work on the show, you're just a fan, want to find out what's going on, valorbk.com. Go check it out. And when we got DirecTV, if you're sitting at home and you're going to buy it September 21st, Valor BK, we got DirecTV, Dish Network, all major cable companies. If you want to stream it digital, we got Fight TV. So we look forward to it. So we'll see you September 21st.
All right.
And Ken, I just have to tell you, my crystal ball is so bright now, I'm having trouble seeing around the room. That's a strong sign. We're going to have a great night. And you heard it here first.
Right on. Right on. Right on. I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
You.
All right, take care.
Wow. Yeah, this is going to be something. Oh, oh, what a night! Yeah, that took me a couple hours to come back down to earth on, and I knew going in. My concern was momentum or lack thereof, because we can go back in boxing, like after, let's go to Muhammad Ali losing to Joe Frazier the first time. But he didn't want an immediate rematch. He went out and got some good momentum going, and that, I think, he was well served in the next couple fights with Frazier. The only exception I could think of was Ray Leonard wanting an immediate rematch with Duran, but that was a special case because he knew Duran's habits between fights, and I think that was kind of an anomaly. But normally, you want to get that confidence back, and you want to stay active. And 13 months without a fight, losing in the first round, you see it in the first two rounds. Did you see the fight, Rich? Well, you see what I mean? Yeah, well, you know,
Yes, I do. Just I wanted to.
and you know, I could and I could tell it was over when Cormier started going backwards, because the shorter guy like Tony, in a lot of your fights, I'm sure you were used to giving up the height advantage and the reach advantage, especially when you moved up in weight, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I doubt if you
out of place against the shorter guy.
Yeah, and the whole thing, I doubt if you were much of a stick and move guy, because that's not the way to win. You don't win going backwards. And this drives another point home, that just basic boxing techniques are so underutilized in MMA. You know, Stipe had an amateur boxing background, and I think finally it just kicked in, because some of the body shots in MMA are more kicks, but kicks are harder to land than punches. And just basic that we know from boxing. You kill the body, the legs and the head die. And that's exactly what happened. And so much, you know, like the jab in MMA, like when I first started training, I was overwhelmed. I mean, I'm having to learn how to defend against weak high kicks. I can't stop takedowns. I mean, I'm just having a terrible time of it. But the one thing that served me well was just a basic jab. A lot of MMA guys couldn't handle a jab. Jab the body, jab the chest, jab the head. And it's the same thing with body shots. The best part of the fight was for you, okay? Well, let's see. The first 3 rounds, I hope there was nothing there. You know, or maybe in round 3, Stipe started. Well, it, right, exactly. And again, what do we exactly? And what do we know from boxing? You know, you hurt the body, then the head is your target. You have someone in trouble, keep working the body, just beat that body, take the legs away, and then the head's wide open. And I think Daniel was so full of himself. I mean, there was a very ugly side of him in the trash talk. He says, "I'm not only going to beat him, I'm going to ruin him. I'm going to finish him." I mean, I never heard him talk like that. Yeah, with John Jones maybe, but there was really an ugliness about this, and that's why this win was just so satisfying. And I think Daniel himself, and he said, "No." He said, I'm going to go ahead and win this. I'm going to beat him at his game. I know I could win at wrestling, but I'm going to beat him just by, you know, standing up with him." And I think it got to him. It really did. So now, just Rich, what's your feeling on Cormier? You think he's going to come back? What do you think for a third fight? Who makes the rank? Who makes these rankings? A bunch of writers. Well, I thought I didn't. Well, I would assume the organization would make the rankings. The writers shouldn't have any pull on that. What the hell? Mm. Yeah, and you know, Anthony is so streaky. He's a hard guy to figure out because it seems like he gets to a peak and then all of a sudden it ain't there. Yeah, that was. I think he hurt his leg, but still, that was a terrible letdown for him. Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. Oh. Ugly, 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 ugly.
Well, you know who's fighting? You know who's fighting September 14th now, right? No, do. You know who's fighting in Vegas on September 14th? Without looking up, you want to take a guess? It's a pretty significant fight. Very good guess. Tom, would you like to venture a guess with your psychic ability?
Wow, there's so much action. You know, I think of September. I'm already jumping to September 28th. Is where my focus is, and the 14th. Oh, wow, because I know.
First of all, don't skip to the 28th because that means you're skipping my birthday.
Yeah.
So, I might be. I'm looking at tickets, and I'm looking to see if I can get a good package. And then I'm just trying to determine, do I really want to spend, 12 plus hours total of traveling for a 2-day trip? That's what I'm kind of, just. It is not Gennady, a little bit bigger, size-wise.
Okay. Let's see. We have the Russian, two of the Russian light heavyweights, right?
That's in Philadelphia, actually, October 18th, which I'm planning to go to.
Yeah, Birbov and I can't read the guy Teddy Atlas is training. I have trouble pronouncing his name.
And you know what? It's a good trainer matchup as well because Teddy Atlas versus Iceman.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's going to be interesting.
So you said the light heavyweight. Let me throw this up there. Go a little.
Oh, okay. So now we're looking at. Okay. Oh! Is this the Tyson Fury and Otto Wallen?
Yeah, it's dead air.
Yeah, are we talking about the Tyson Fury defense with Otto Wallen?
That is correct.
Yeah, I think I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. There was a guy in the Army with me, Wallen, but then I heard that in wherever he's from, what country he's from, they pronounce it Sweden, I guess it is. They pronounce it a little different, so Wallin or something. But
well, you know what? I don't think Tyson Fury is going to give him that much respect. I think Tyson's going to lump them up. But I don't know much about Wallin or Wallin. But like I said, it's one that I'm contemplating going to, and I'll make up my decision in the next few days.
Well, here's what I've heard. He's a step up from Tom Schwartz, but he's not expected to give Tyson Fury a real chance. But I listened to an interview from Fury, and like he said, well, hey, the guy's undefeated, and you don't know who he's fought. I mean, maybe he's the next big thing. You never really know. Sometimes these guys come out of nowhere. So,
and you are absolutely right in saying that, and that's the best thing Tyson can say right now, because I know what's been said, and obviously we don't have confirmation on this yet, but Deontay Wilder and Luis Ortiz are fighting in September. If Wilder wins that fight as expected, and Ortiz gave him a hell of a fight last time.
Yeah, you can't look past him.
You can't look past him. He's a hell of a boxer. But there's reports out there right now that, he could be really close to 50 years old. So Wilder wins that fight. Fury is right now a deal apparently in place for February 22nd of 2020. 5 twos in that date. So that could be the hotly anticipated rematch between Wilder and Fury. And, Fury out there, he's a guy, he's outspoken. I used to not really like him. I've become a big fan of his. And he came out there talking.
I totally agree with you. He's grown on me.
Yeah, me too. What turned me on was the way he got up from that second Wilder knockdown when, it looked like it was over. And he got up and won the rest of the round, But they were talking to him last week during that ESPN card, and he goes, all these guys out there right now, he goes, I'll beat them all and twice on Sunday.
And what else he said? He was interviewed, I believe it was on Max on Boxing, when he said that he's going to be more aggressive against Wilder, and he's going to do more trading. And I think Max was saying, well, that's upping the danger zone. And Fury's answer was, this is a danger business.
Hey.
You're absolutely right. I'm thinking, Tony, when, with that Steve Cunningham fight, go back to that. And I remember Fury seemed so obnoxious and gangly and full of himself. And I remember when Cunningham knocked him down, man, I mean, Fury was kind of like a stereotype villain, but I'm totally on board with him now.
And you know what? And a couple things that originally I really wasn't a fan of his on wire. First of all, he just seemed so cocky, so arrogant, so obnoxious. And then he had the fight with Cunningham where, he outweighed Cunningham by about a good 70 pounds almost.
Exactly. Wow.
Pounds. And he gets off the canvas and he basically just, mauled the guy. He was, grappling and, holding and fighting a real rough ass fight. And he wore the small man down and stopped him. So I was like, I'm not a big fan. Then he goes on to fight Vladimir Klitschko. So consensus is, if Cunningham dropped him, Klitschko should ice him. And then that fight was almost like they were playing touch boxing. They were both, it was a lot of dancing. It was a lot of, it wasn't a heavyweight fight. It was no Ali Frazier. It was no Foreman Lyle. It was, it was not a heavyweight fight. I'm like, man, when you take two guys that are built like King Kong and Godzilla and they fight like ballerinas, you're not going to impress me. And then he leaves for a couple of years. He fights the depression off. So the guy comes back and I think, okay, he's coming back, big deal. He was out of shape, big deal. Then he fights Wilder, and going into that fight, I remember saying, I think it's going to go 6-7 rounds and Wilder's going to hit him with that right hand like Cunningham did, except this time it's going to be over. And they're like, I didn't get home early enough to order it that night. But I was following the one, blog. And every round was like, he's just outworking him. He's outboxing him. He's, Fury's just out everything him. He's out fighting him. Another Fury, another round Fury. Oh, wait, Fury's down. I'm like, all right, the universe is back on track. Oh, wait, he's up. Okay, Fury's outboxing him. Fury's out punching him. Fury's winning these rounds and just doing more. He's just doing everything better. last round. Fury's got to be out of the cards. Oh my God. Wilder just landed a shot. Fury down. This fight is over. Oh, wait, he got up. Oh, wait, he's still going. And it's like, oh, shit, you know, and how crazy that was. And then he should have got that decision. He didn't. But, you know, he took it in stride. And then the other thing that he's doing is like, he's like, you know, I got a lot of money. I got enough money. I'm donating all my purses to help needy people. And it's like, wow, that is really cool. And you hear his interviews and how charismatic he is and that Apollo Creed entrance in Las Vegas. And I'm like, the man's putting on a show. You know, I mean, that's what you pay to see, right?
Exactly. So, and he also was saying, if you guys caught that, Matt, you know, when he was talking with Max about it, like he said that, hey, he's going to be even in better shape because he's still, you know, he's not going out and doing all the stupid things that he did before. You know, he'd leave the gym, probably got on a 2-week-long drunk and ballooned up in weight. Those days are over for him now, and I believe him. So this will be a fascinating rematch because it's just you want to say one guy can win, I can take the other side. That's the kind of fight it is, and that's the kind of fight for fight fans that we want.
When he was you know, talking with the fight with Tom Schwartz, and they were talking to him, and he was sitting there saying like how during his, you know, depression and all that, you know, how he really ballooned up in weight. It showed a picture of him, you know, with a, you know, big, you know, round, flabby stomach, and he came out there and he's like, so I was up to 400 pounds, and my dad goes, "Holy shit, 400 pounds!" And I'm like, "Dad, the guy's 6'9". I said, 400 pounds is a little different on guys like me and you. And then I'm like, and then I had to throw a dig at another fighter that I really don't like, is Adrian Broner. If you ever seen his father looks like he's about 400 pounds. And I'm like, except, you know, he's about 5'4".
4 bills.
So I could potentially be at that fight. It is not totally decided yet. But if I do, I'll send you guys some great photos. What's that? Whenever you have any boxing news, you know that.
Yeah, it's sad. Yeah, that was fabulous. That was classic. Ah, the Irish and their alcohol, huh?
Yeah, really. What the hell?
Wow.
Yeah, because as you figure, I don't think Kirkland's fought since he lost Canelo, and that was what a good 4+ years ago. And that was a pretty brutal knockout. Yeah. Yeah.
Sergey got kicked. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. I have not.
Andy Ruiz. Yeah.
Yep. It was. I did enjoy that.
All right, guys. Enjoy the fights.
All right. Sounds good, gentlemen. All right. Okay. See you later, guys.